can't read lips. I mean, I can because it's close. Barely. I can't read lips.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please find your seats and silence all electronic devices as our ceremony will begin shortly. As a reminder to our military guests, this ceremony is considered an indoor event. Therefore, the wearing of headgear and rendering of salutes during the singing of the German and American national anthems is not required. At key points during the ceremony, you'll be asked to sit or stand.
Move, stand, hut, parade, hut.
On behalf of our presiding officer, Colonel Leslie Howard, Welcome to today's change of command ceremony, where Colonel Betsy Ross will relinquish command of the 52nd Mission Support Group, and Colonel Stephen Lamb will assume command. I am Staff Sergeant Richard Popovich, and I will be your narrator for today's ceremony. At this time, we would like to welcome our distinguished guests who have joined us today. Please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. Angela Houck, spouse of Colonel Houck and daughter Audrey. Tabitha Lamb, spouse of Colonel Lamb and their children, Jake and Skylar. From the 52nd Fighter Wing, the Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant Toby Roach. Head Klaus Rodens, 52nd Fighter Wing Honorary Commander and Deputy Mayor of Spangdahlem. From the 52nd Operations Group, Colonel Thomas Graham and Chief Master Sergeant Mark Rogers. From the 52nd Maintenance Group, Colonel James Vincent, his spouse Lindsay, and Chief Master Sergeant Christopher Lopez. From the 52nd Mission Support Group, Deputy Commander Lieutenant Colonel Michael Murphy, Deputy Director Russell Oster, and Chief Master Sergeant Yvonne Santos. 52nd Mission Support Group Honorary Commanders, Herr Rainer Nichols, Director of the Bitburg County Bank. Dr. Josef Peters Mertes, former President, Trier Region. And Herr Joachim Kandels, Mayor of the City of Bitburg. From the 52nd Medical Group, the Commander, Colonel Peter French, and Chief Master Sergeant Virginia Trope. We also welcome all other commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, supervisors, family, friends, and the 52nd Fighter Wing, Sabre Nation. And a special welcome to all mayors, justice, police forces, squadron honorary commanders, and other host nation friends and partners. Thank you for attending. History reveals that in the Middle Ages, soldiers in the field would often not know or recognize their commanders. In response to this problem, the Continental Army of the United States conducted the first official change of command ceremony. Just as it has in the past, a formal change of command allows troops to witness the actual transfer of command between two officers and see their new commander firsthand. In modern times, the guidon is entrusted to the command's most senior enlisted member as a symbol of the trust and confidence the command places in its enlisted corps. The change of command also adds color and pageantry to military life, preserves tradition, and stimulates the spirit de corps. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party. The singing of the German and American national anthems by Ms. Abigail Moran from the 52nd Force Support Squadron and the invocation.
Group, attention. Sir, I present the group.
Present the colors. Colors time. Hearts.
Special thanks to the 86th Airlift Wing Honorary Guard and Miss Moran. Chaplain Redmond will now provide the invocation.
Parade, hit!
Let us pray. Lord, I come before you humbly, and I ask for your blessing on this transfer of leadership. I lift up to you Colonel Ross. I pray for your blessing on her leadership as she goes to her new assignment and continues to use her many gifts. She is known for promoting teamwork. Those of us who've had the privilege of serving under her have heard her shout out, "That's my teammate." And I don't know if she realizes it, but we love hearing her say that because we know that she means it. She makes us feel valued and part of the team. Lord, she is known for fostering unity and ensuring effective communication and maximizing talent to solve problems. She is known for being aware of needs and having a good pulse on all the people under her leadership. May she continue to do all these things with excellence as she maximizes her giftedness to bring out the best in others. And next, I lift up to you Colonel Lamb as he assumes command. I've been told that he is a person of great knowledge and wisdom and skill and creativity, and yet he is very humble. A servant leader who is approachable and who cares deeply for those whom he leads. I pray for your blessing on him as he uses his gifts to lead these airmen. I also lift up to you his wife, Catherine, and their children, Jake and Skylar. I pray that you would comfort them during this transition, as they have said many goodbyes and are now saying many hellos. And as a family, I pray that they would continue to grow in their love for each other and in their love for their Air Force family. May this be a wonderful chapter of humble service and sacrificial love, both in and outside the home. I pray all these things in your precious and holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Redmond. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. It is my pleasure to introduce our presiding officer for today's ceremony, Colonel Leslie Howard.
All right, Sabre Nation, what a fantastic Tuesday. You know, this is something that we normally do in a hangar on a Friday, but it's very fitting for the MSG, Mission Support Group Change of Command, with all the things they do for the community to happen in a place like this in the middle high school. I don't know how you're feeling right now, Audrey, but none of your teachers are here, but school is almost in session for you and Skylar. It's coming. Feeling a little bit weird there, I'm sure. But, you know, again, a symbol that we're here. I know that the two principals wish they could be here with us, but of course they're enjoying the rest of their summer leave, along with our school liaison officer, Mr. Martone, but unfortunately they're not able to be here. But I thank them for helping us and allowing us to use this facility. So I'll talk more on both the activities that the Mission Support Group undertake and their role in the community, but also the ever important parts that they support for the mission and our airmen. And we say around here, Mission Airmen Community, and if you hadn't seen it as you're going through the gate, because you're always pulling out your ID card, look up about 5.2 degrees and you'll see it posted there because it's certainly important. And you know, the community parts and the airmen parts that give us the mission part is all about what the mission support is, and our awesome airmen, our Sabre airmen sitting there in that formation looking great in the blues. By the way, on that one, please, let me ask Lieutenant Colonel Murphy, our commander of troops, and our newest deputy mission support group commander, newest deputy group commander that just arrived. Please put the formation at ease for me.
Lieutenant Hood, at ease.
Because I know some of those commanders there in the front row I'm looking at, they're appreciating that one right now. I'll hear about it later if I didn't do that. So the next thing I'd like to say is thank you to a few individuals that helped make this event come together. I already mentioned the school administrators there, but you know, all around us, we've got people that made it happen. Whether that be my Commander's Action Group bringing food to the back and some beverages for us to have before this event, or the protocol team. Luckily for the protocol team, this is the last change command of the season. They're celebrating inside, but I can't promise you all, wherever you are on that periphery there you are hiding, I see you. There will still be DBs visiting, because there's a lot that we do here that you know is awesome, and I love showing it off, and they like seeing it. It's important for us as we continue to keep Spangdahlem on the map. I'd also like to thank Sergeant Dubowitz behind us, our proffers, our escorts, and Miss Moran, and everybody else that played a part in today's ceremony. And Chaplain Redmond, you nailed it there. I'll take out about 5 minutes of my speech that talked about the teammate portion, so everybody's happy about that one too. But exactly on point with Colonel Ross, and exactly on point with the prayers and everything else that we give for both you and your family in the future, but with how we welcome the Lamb family. You know, the Honor Guard too is from the 86th Air Wing. I don't know if you saw or caught that part as it was said, but I appreciate them for coming up the road here to us, or over the road, however it is, to be here today to support the ceremony. It's great to see. We're looking at restarting our team here locally, but you know, the mission demands and the things that we've been supporting across the wing have taken up a lot of our time recently. But I know that there's, you know, an importance to the community for us to get out and about and do that too, and we're going to be looking to get after that to help out Team Ramsden. But I thank them for helping out today. Finally, thanks to Captain Smith, Captain Filer, and Master Sergeant Serenas. You guys do a lot for this base. I read a lot of reports, obviously, and I sign a lot of things, and your names are always all over those. So thanks to you, team, for putting this thing together. So although they were introduced earlier, let me again welcome the Lamb family seated there next to my spouse and my daughter. I already called you out, sorry, Audrey, but hello to you also, Angela. But welcome to you all, and to the Ross family watching remotely. You know, we overloaded the Lambs a little bit maybe when they arrived, as we gave an opportunity, I gave an opportunity for everybody to get out of a staff meeting if they went to say hello to them. So about 52 people showed up to say hi, and they all were jet lagged, and you know, we're like, hey, big party time. You know, I'm kidding. I didn't actually say I'm canceling the staff meeting just so you guys will do this. Everybody wanted to go, and that's the excitedness to have you guys in this community with us, and I hope you're already feeling it. Welcome to you, Tabitha, Jake, and Skylar specifically. And like I also said, we've got the Ross family watching remotely, so welcome to Mr. Russell and Joan Ross, Colonel Ross's mother and father, and her siblings Dan, Deb, David, Diana, and Daryl. I look forward to meeting them all someday. When they come out to visit you in Ramsden or whatever it is, you got to bring them down. Also, welcome to the leaders, airmen, and community that collectively make us Sabre Nation. Our commanders, our honorary commanders, our chiefs, spouses, airmen, dependents, civilians. Thank you for taking the time out to be here today. And relationships matter, and in my opinion, and there's no doubt in my mind, this base, Sabre Nation, with Spangdahlem Air Base, and the rest of our GSUs make us the #1 air base in the world. We're ready, we're stronger, and we're resilient, all because of the connectedness that we have as a community. And this facility really defines that relationship. And I can't say I know the entire full story, but it goes something like this with what Mr. Klaus Rodens in the front row did for us as one of our wing honorary commanders. Back in the day when we started looking at procuring the land for this facility, he brought together a bunch of different entities to figure out how this land could be basically donated, because it was, what, €100 or something, Klaus? So something very cheap on that scheme that doesn't happen in any type of other relationship that a base has with the local community, so that we could build this magnificent facility for our students, for our dependents, and take care of our families. So thank you very much for that one, Klaus. You've got a storied history that you can tell afterwards to the new commander and everybody else that's new here about how Klaus started working in the MSG in the bowling alley, which was over at the Skelton Gym, if you didn't all know that. It was 2 stories, and Klaus was the person that brought you your beverage or your food to the 2nd floor, and since then he's been working at the base in many other jobs and continuing to further those relationships. So thank you, Klaus. The MSG honoraries, thank you both, you 3, for being here. I know you do things for the wing as a whole and not just the MSG, so thank you there very much for the time that you've spent with Sabre Nation. So I've seen it firsthand from you, Rainer, Aaron Nichols, and the many events that you've attended with me. Same for you, Mayor Candles, and you showed me in Bitburg personally. I thank you for that, and I know you showed it to the MSG and the rest of our airmen, and you take care of our airmen that are there. And to you also, Dr. Merlis, thank you for the close relationship that you've had over the years with the MSGs. I know that's meant a lot, especially to Colonel Ross. So Russia and China may have some countries, you know, if you watch the news, that seemingly are willing to support them as partners and allies, but they don't have surely the strength of NATO that we've got. Not just with the Germans, but all the countries of NATO. They don't have that underlying trust, determination to stand together and to be strong for years. And to be specific, as y'all know, Klaus wasn't working on this base for quite 70 years, but this base has been here in May 70 years. And for about 30 years after the Cold War, we're seeing it now that the tide has turned, and we're no longer in the lull of not having an adversary out there that we need to keep watching and ensure is kept in check and doesn't overtake on countries like Ukraine or other NATO countries in the East for personal gain on them, and that we ensure that we have continued freedoms for those countries and allow them to establish their own democracies. You all know that we're a part of that because you hear KC-135s, you hear F-35s, you hear EA-18 Growlers from the Navy, from our sailors, taking off on Sunday morning, and you hear them taking off at all hours, and you hear our 480th Warhawk F-16s also launching and training sorties. You also all played a part as mission support group airmen in allowing us to respond in 96 hours when that Russian aggression started back in February. You also all allowed us to get the Warhawks out to Vitesse, Romania on very, very short notice. You did that all in strength of NATO and to show the importance of our NATO partnership and also the importance of this base. So thank you, MSG. We also called upon you, Sabre Airmen, to go to Ramstein to support the evacuation of Afghan travelers, 36,000 of them. You stood it up, from contracting actions to defenders' actions protecting this base, to civil engineers standing up at Tent City, should any airplane divert in here with Afghan travelers. The list goes on and on. To our LRS airmen, standing up bus schedules with the local transportation companies to have 8-hour buses every single day for 2 months, shuttling our airmen back and forth. A key part of that, again, showing the strategic importance of this base. You all stepped up, and I'm certainly proud of you. And whether it be from the floods before, from Afghanistan, from new facilities, from improvements to the base, from establishing activities to the community, from doing initial response force training, should we need to respond to a nuclear accident, the mission support group was all behind it. Y'all are awesome. And I could go on, but I'm already on page 7, and I see some bored-looking faces out there, so I'll stop talking at this point on that, but there's a ton more I could talk about. I haven't even started talking about these 2 to my left here, so I'll get on with it. But guess what? You know, in fact, I actually have, because Colonel Ross was leading from the front in every single one of those events, and working with our squadron commanders, and working with our airmen to ensure that we did it right, and to lead without fear. You'll hear some more specifics in the things that that are mentioned in her Legion of Merit, soon to be here presented, but it is incredible to think over a 2-year span and really listen to those words, please, in the Legion of Merit, that she has accomplished all those in just 2 years. And Betsy, you've been a trusted leader for the wing, and you've provided me great advice and counsel along the way. No kidding. I know you've loved having another fighter pilot as a boss, once again, an ID generator that maybe aren't always good ideas, but you suffered through it with General Walters before and succeeded admirably, getting you this job. And you've done it again to get your position at Ramstein being the A1, which means in charge of all of our personnel matters, MU Safety and Air Forces Africa. And I'll also tell you it's important to have somebody like Betsy who's got the courage to say, no, sir, that's a bad idea. Here's why, because that doesn't always happen. And the cool thing about how you do it, Betsy, is that you also say, I think I see what you're trying to do, sir. You don't usually have to say think, but sometimes that does happen. But this may be a better way, or if we really want to do that, here's what it's going to cost us, and here's the risk that might be involved. And that's really the way that you need to approach a superior or a boss when you have an idea that sticks out that's differently than the way you think you should go. And I appreciate you having the courage to do that, Betsy, sincerely. It's important. And I do know, though, that you won't be far away, and all those good ideas that you have, and all those times that we need to be challenged as leaders, you're not far away. And Colonel Lamb, you've got to phone a friend easily up the way, or you can file a local voucher and just drive to Ramstein and see her. And I know, otherwise, she'd be happy to come here too, probably on the cheap, and not even file a voucher. Thank you, Betsy, again, for what you've done for this space, what you've done for me, and what you've done for our Saber Circle leadership team, being a true teammate. And thank you for your family, most importantly, for raising an all-star, a leader in our Air Force and a leader for our nation. So Stephen, in just a few minutes here, we'll dub you as Saber 6, our radio handle that we use around here for the Saber Circle command team. And we'll continue to welcome you and your family, although we'll try not to as in such overwhelming fashion, as our Senior Circle leadership team. You know, I tried to get that call sign to stick with Betsy, but you know when you got a name like Betsy Ross, you just can't get somebody to go by Saber 6. But whatever you want to go by, we'll stick with it. But you and the family, Stephen, are going to rock it. And yes, you've got some big shoes to fill, but your track record shows that you're going to be ready to do that. You're coming to us directly from the prestigious Eisenhower School that's in our national capital region that everybody tries to get into. You got into and did very, very well, where you learned a bunch about the strategic environment. You learned about leadership. And I know that all those things that you learned you're going to take back to us and bring back to us, and we'll have in our discussions as we discuss professional development for us. We will certainly be picking your brain. But in addition to that, with your background with logistics and installation support across the globe, by the way, you're going to bring things that we need. You have an understanding that's going to be undoubtedly instrumental as we transition to the next phase to keep NATO stronger than ever from the position that we have it in today. And that's important, as we're ready to compete and as we're ready to deter. It's also going to likely be important, I have no doubt it's not also probably, it will be important to making this space the future of our strategic posture in Europe and setting our global posture across Europe. Again, going back to the competition and going back to the deterrence importance. A lot of you may know it, but it's also pretty good to have another person besides just Betsy that you can phone as a friend, as your previous boss, who also ranked you as the #1 colonel in your OPR, is now leading our Air Force as the #1 general officer in our personnel as field as a 3-star general. So that's kind of cool, but you know, before you phone that friend, let's do it at a low level first and do some communication before we call it a 3-star. But that's great, and you know, that track record is incredible, and we're certainly happy to have you in the family here, Stephen. So again, welcome to the family. Yeah, you and Tabitha have made sacrifices over the 25 years you've been married, with deployments, with what we call geo-batching, right? When you have to sacrifice for the family and like go to a school for a year, let's say, and not be able to be together. We're very, very happy that you're able to be together and to be in a place like Europe. It is beautiful here. I know you're going to love it here. We're very, very happy that you're able to be together. So Betsy, one more final thank you to you. And, you know, I usually give this honor to Chief Roach, but Chief, today, I'm going to let Colonel Ross do it. So for those of you that don't know, we say 3 words around here besides the mission airman community. We say, seek, attack, destroy, because it's on our patch, and it means a lot to the mission that we're still doing today with our F-16s with suppression enemy air defense. Normally I'll say the first word, Chief will say the second, and we collectively will come together to say the third. Today we'll still come together to collectively say the third, but Betsy, please take the second word. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sabers! Seek!
Attack!
Awesome. That's the best one yet. Thank you, Vanessa. Sorry, Chief.
Thank you, Colonel Howard. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of Regional. Colonel Howard, permission to publish the order.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. Colonel D. Betsy J. Ross distinguished herself by exceptional meritorious conduct in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Commander, 52nd Mission Support Group, 52nd Fighter Wing, Spangdahlem Air Base, Germany, from 7 July 2020 to 26 July 2022. In this critical role, Colonel Ross commanded 2,300 personnel across 7 squadrons and 8 mission partners, supporting Europe's most diverse nuclear capabilities and promoting the readiness of United States and North Atlantic Treaty Organization forces. This readiness powered European Command's sole suppression of enemy air defense unit and strengthened nuclear response capabilities. Colonel Ross's leadership resulted in the successful development of agile combat employment. Her leadership drove the group's Sabre Agile Command employment from concept to initial operating capability, resulting in 52nd Fighter Wing surpassing the United States Air Forces in Europe's timeline by more than 6 months. Her focus on innovation and continuous improvement led to 2 Air Force level Spark tanks wings and numerous process improvements. As part of Operation Allies Welcome, Colonel Ross guided non-combatant evacuation operations, including establishing bed-down, security, and food operations for 400 travelers, enabling 256 sorties and 614 tons of cargo, and coordinating more than 1,000 volunteers during 24-hour operations that supported theater-wide humanitarian relief. In response to the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Colonel Ross provided deterrence options by deploying 8 combat-loaded F-16 aircraft to Romania and receiving F-35, F-15C, F-15E, F-18, EA-18, and KC-135 aircraft in both Germany and Poland. Colonel Ross's attention to detail resulted in the seamless reception, lodging, food, and transportation operations for 700 deployed forces. Finally, as the initial response force commander, Colonel Ross led the wing's first multinational interagency nuclear exercise in more than 4 years, strengthening command's nuclear response capabilities and supporting the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Colonel Ross reflect great credit upon herself and the United States Air Force. Thank you, Colonel Howard. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Ready.
Colonel Ross will now address the 52nd Mission Support Group for the last time as the commander.
Okay. I'm going to try my best to keep it together here, but you know me. So just wait for it. It's coming. So first of all, good afternoon, teammates. Thank you so much for being here to celebrate this special occasion. I really appreciate all my fellow commanders, squadron commanders, chiefs, and first sergeants. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Klaus, Dr. Mertes, Hair Nichols, Hair Candles, thank you so much for being here. It's so great to see you again and get to be actually in the same room together again, so thank you so much. Friends, family, and especially the men and women of the 52nd Mission Support Group, thank you for being here. I also want to give a special thanks to our project officers, Captain Filer, Captain Smith, and Master Sergeant Serenas. Thank you for coordinating all of this and making it such a special day. And a huge thanks to Ms. Moran for those beautiful anthems. That was awesome. Thank you so much. And Chaplain Redmond, thank you for blessing us and our families and our airmen. It means a lot. Thank you so much. Colonel Hount, thank you for all those kind words, and thank you for letting me bring my whole self to the leadership team. You allowed me to share different thoughts and ideas and valued my perspective, even when I had to tell you a base pool was not a cost-effective endeavor. To my fellow group commanders, thank you for being awesome teammates. I'm so grateful for your friendship, mentorship, and the many evenings hanging out around the fire pit while still maintaining our 3 foot of social distance. We made some good memories together despite the crazy COVID times. I also want to thank my family who are watching virtually. Sometimes when people look around and don't see my family here in person, there it is. Sometimes they assume I don't have it. And let me assure you, I do. And they're freaking amazing. My parents and brothers and sisters have supported and encouraged me in so many ways over the years. Early on, my parents taught me the value of hard work and instilled in me a drive to serve others. My brothers and sisters celebrate all my many achievements with me and still keep me grounded. They like to remind me I'm still just their little sister. Thank you all so much for your love and support. Team MSG, phew, thank you for these 2 years. Man, it's been incredible. A huge thanks to Colonel Goad, Mr. Oster, Chief Matthews, and now Colonel Murphy and Chief Santos. Thank you for being my trusted feedback source, my trusted mentorship, my trusted idea source, and the folks that just got it done. Thank you so much. One of the things I've gotten the most feedback on since I've been here is the Friday Fun and Facts. Not many people know how that came about, but one day Chief Matthews came in the office and he said, "Hey, what do you think about just setting up this anonymous comment box? You know, with COVID preventing gatherings, we thought maybe this will be a good way to keep the group together, build connections, and make sure that we're communicating with our airmen." We thought we might get 1 or 2 questions a month. We had no idea we would get this many questions. In fact, we had 15 questions in 1 week. Phew, you all put us to work, but we loved it. I'm thankful for your trust and your willingness to ask deep questions about mentorship and feedback. And you asked some pretty fun questions too, like when we were getting a Texas Roadhouse. Spoiler alert, we're not. I encourage you all to keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep growing. Together, Team MSG has made history over the past 2 years. The day after our change of command, you hosted the first guests in the now infamous Rom Village. Your compassion and dedication to your teammates from across our Air Force ensured we provided a safe and relatively fun place for deployers to quarantine to prevent the spread of COVID while still continuing our mission throughout the CENTCOM and AFRICOM theaters. Thanks to you, more than 700 airmen were able to fulfill their deployments without further spread of the COVID virus. As COVID finally decreased, we got excited about being able to travel and get back to normal life. And then the worst flood in nearly 100 years came in and damaged homes and infrastructure in our surrounding communities. You all stepped up to save lives and homes, and then continued helping with recovery efforts for weeks after. Your commitment to service before self is evidenced in so many ways. Just when we thought we would have a chance to breathe after the floods, we found ourselves at the forefront of the largest non-combatant evacuation in the history of the Department of Defense. Once again, you led efforts to bed down evacuees and then forward deployed to Ramstein to support the efforts there with food, tents, security, and most importantly, human kindness. Your selfless efforts made a traumatic time for more than 35,000 people a little less stressful, while showing the world our enormous humanitarian capabilities. After Operation Allies Refuge ended, we thought now we can finally get back to some of our core missions, like the Incident Response Force and support for flying deployments. Unfortunately, good old Putin had a different plan and invaded Ukraine. Sabre Nation, you, immediately led the way, supporting our allies and providing deterrence missions across NATO. Your quick response not only supported and inspired our Ukraine partners, you also showed Russia and all of our adversaries that we're ready and fully capable of responding with force. Your efforts supporting our NATO partners and allies across Europe has proven to the world that we're stronger together and more committed than ever to deterring aggression. While continuing our increased efforts supporting Ukraine, you still managed to execute the largest international interagency incident response exercise in more than 4 years. We built relationships with our Dutch partners and strengthened capabilities across the MAGCOM. You're absolutely incredible. You've shown integrity and commitment to our mission. Your teammates and our NATO partners, through your hard work and innovation, know you are here to help. Your drive for excellence is evident every single day. I came to work every day knowing I could trust you to do the job and provide honest, meaningful feedback. I knew when things got tough, you would work together to get through it and find ways to make it better. Our core values were the foundation upon which we built our technical competence. You never settled for good enough. You continually looked for ways to do our mission better, to make lives better, and to help each other grow and be better airmen for our Air Force and for our nation. Your competence gave us credibility across the wing with our NATO partners and with our fellow Americans. Our nation is stronger and more secure because of you. And you did this all while focusing on connecting with each other, caring for one another, and valuing the different perspectives and experiences we each bring to the team. As we hear the planes flying overhead, I'm reminded that not a single airplane could fly without the efforts of the Mission Support Group. Our billets would not be filled, our airmen would not be fueled, our pilots would not have critical communication capabilities, our base would not be secure, our jets would not be fueled without you. Our wing's mission would not happen without each and every one of you doing your part. You make the mission possible. It's been an honor to be part of a team that works together and values what each member brings to the fight. Thank you for caring about your teammates and doing the right things the right way to safeguard not only our mission, but each other. I've absolutely loved being part of this mission and this team. And it's really hard to let go and move on. But I know you'll be in great hands with Colonel Lamb, and I will forever be grateful for the experiences we've shared and the historic missions that we've accomplished together. Thank you for being the best teammates I could ever ask for. I'm so proud to be the MSG and honored to be your teammate. You're my teammates. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Watts. The men and women of the 52nd Mission Support now honor Colonel Ross with a final salute.
Group, present arms. Ma'am, it has been a pleasure to serve with you. We will always be your team.
Those are my teammates. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as Colonel Ross relinquishes command and Colonel Lamb assumes command of the 52nd Mission Support Group.
Order, arms.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. The Department of the Air Force has announced that under provisions of Air Force Instruction 51-509, in accordance with Special Order Number G062, Colonel Stephen N. Lamb is hereby appointed as Commander of the 52nd Mission Support Group, Spangdahlem Air Base, Germany, effective 26 July 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The United States Air Force is pleased to introduce for the first time as Commander of the 52nd Mission Support Group, Colonel Stephen Lamb.
Good afternoon. I'm going to keep my comments short because of the want to make sure I get the high points that I'm actually doing today. This is our family's #1 assignment choice. We specifically asked for Spangdahlem, Germany, over any other place in the world for multiple reasons. We know the mission set at Spangdahlem. I know I want to work with coalition partners again. My family and I both want to know more about the German history. We want to experience your culture. We want to get out and about. So being able to get this assignment has been a dream for all of us in my family, and I just wanted to make sure that you're all aware of that. Now, I couldn't have gotten this assignment without help along the way. 30 years ago this month, July 1992, I was 17 years old, in Airman Basic, going to my first duty assignment. I was met by Senior Airman Curtis Johnson, my very first supervisor. A name I'll never forget is that somebody who took care of me, developed me, coached me, mentored, and put me on the right track. Fast forward a couple years, Colonel Scott Thompson, UCAPFN now, and his wife Sunday. My group commander at the time, same thing, coached, mentored me, and helped me get where I was today. I want to thank every supervisor who's ever taken the time to actually develop and take care of the troops below them, and then everybody who's listened to every other person and their family members to make sure they're doing the right thing. I wouldn't have gotten here without them, so thank you very much. When we look at why I stayed in the Air Force for 30 years, it's because of the Air Force family. We look at the events we put on today, all the support and all the help, Commissioner Moran, Chaplain, the whole CAD team, the protocol team, everybody who put this up, everybody in the formation, we're all part of the Air Force family. About 2 months ago, the boss and chief reached out to all the inbound commanders on a telecom, and I asked for help during that telecom. I said, boss, chief, I've been away from my family for about 2 years. When I arrive in Ramstein, Germany, it's going to be my daughter's birthday. I need your help to make sure she has a birthday. Amazing. The amount of support we got from the wing, the groups, the squadrons, everybody, I don't even know everybody. Like the boss said, it was overwhelming, but it was true. It was the Air Force family. It was people coming out to help because they know I needed help when we're all there for each other. That's something I'll never forget. That's something about Sabre Nation that will stick with me and my family for the rest of our lives. I will not be able to thank you enough for what you did for me, and I'm glad I came out and said, hey, I need a little bit of help to make sure my family is situated on my daughter's birthday when we ride into a different country and she was going through all this. So I appreciate all of you. Now, looking forward to the Air Force family, looking at the MSG. To me, the MSG has basically two main parts, the airmen and community. Our whole job, half of our job, is to protect and care for families and the people we love. That's unique about the MSG. The other unique part about the MSG is our mission set. We take care of everybody in Sabre Nation. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter what support you have, what coalition force you are, we will support you. I don't care what weapon system you are, if you're a SOF, if you're an aircraft, if you're a satellite, if you're a trading base, MSG is trained to support all of you. We can do it here at Sabre Nation, we can do it in any other country at any time of our choosing, anywhere. That is why the MSG is so special. And I'm extremely humbled to be here with you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Lamb. At this time, the 52nd Mission Support Group will honor Colonel Lamb for their first salute.
Really? Okay, cut. Present arms. Sir, welcome to the 52nd Mission Support Group. Order, arms.
Please stand for the playing of the Air Force song, the departure of the official party. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Colonel Howe, thank you for attending today's change of command ceremony. You are cordially invited to congratulate and welcome Colonel Lamb and his family at the back of the auditorium. This concludes our ceremony, and have a pleasant day.
Dismiss.